Everybody, it's Lasha. I was going to have that song, So You Had a Bad Day, playing behind me. Welcome to Royal Pushback Aftermath. I haven't checked my phone today. I haven't been on the phone today. I was cooking. This is why I call it Royal Pushback Aftermath. And it's so strange. Sometimes I can go live on Lasha Rajenko. I used to go live on L&L Soul Sisters, and I don't know, something happened when I changed my SIM card. And then I started going live on this other channel that I didn't even know existed. And yes. So, yes, I had a bad morning. And the reason I call it Royal Pushback Aftermath is or maybe I should call this channel Upon Reflection, because we're always so influenced by celebrities and so on. I also really wanted to say this, and this is the frustration that I was having. And I just want to say, first of all, I don't think anybody does anything on purpose. And it wasn't a doctor, it was a surgeon. My doctor was amazing. And my doctor was very, very religious, but lived by it day to day. He was the type of doctor that you would have had in the 50s that would have made house calls and would have come over, and he would have made an excellent minister. And the team that took care of me afterwards, and this was in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020 when COVID came, 2021, 2022, and 2023, I've been recovering mentally. And I'm not ashamed to say that, because a lot of the decisions that I've made in life have brought me to where I am compared to where I used to be. But also, if I get into my childhood, which I will not ever, maybe in little bits and pieces, but nobody wants to do that. You feel like a martyr. I feel like a martyr because, and I'm not a victim. That's the other thing I wanted to clarify, is I'm not a victim. If you look at my videos, they're all pretty silly and happy, like something a kid would do. And that's what got me through the trauma. And somebody that came into my life for a year that brought me back to life. And I'll never, ever, ever, ever forget that. Even when I'm 80, I will look back at that year and laugh. I've never met anybody who made me laugh that way. Oh my God. We were like two children, and he has as far as I know, a nice, a beautiful fiance, girlfriend, wife, I don't know. And, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so that was that. And I'm babbling because I'm so tired. So I just want you all to know, to get off steam today, I went upstairs and I reflected. And And I got out. Where is it? I always have my prayer portal with me. I have my prayer portal. Here it is. And I didn't randomly pick a prayer. I just read through them and meditated and thought about my family and all perspectives, where I am in life and my mother and how much I love my mother. And I really started to think of all of the positive things. And then the anger went away. But here's the difference. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to have a bad day. But if you express it, then go do something about it. Don't fucking sit there. Go fucking do something. That's the difference between a victim and a survivor. That's all I'm going to say about that. And that's what today was about. And when I say to all of you, you don't know what it means to me. I don't know the stats, and I haven't looked. I get afraid to open emails. But the reason that I redid the board and tried to do this neatly was because I am a tidy, active, healthy. My dog and I. This is that all of you took the time for me, and it reminds me and triggered, if you will, one of the negative things I said about Jenny Craig, but one of the best things that happened to me there was every person there mattered to me in that region. And I knew, and this is what I think happened. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody from Jenny Craig sees this, which I doubt it. Some might listen, some might not care, and some would probably not understand why this would still affect my life. But I told you that this channel was about a learning process about me. And my mother always said, if you give the milk away, what is that saying about milk? Well, anyways, don't give away the milk away first. Whatever. But I'm not, am I purposely doing that? Or is just my ADHD? See, that's where I get confused. Because some people think that I'm narcissistic, which makes me laugh. Because if I was a narcissist, I wouldn't be sitting here in a rented, lovely, lovely townhouse. And I'm so blessed. No. A narcissist wouldn't give away $3,000 to somebody who claimed that they were coming off of a certain drug and that they owed a drug dealer money, and they didn't know what would happen to them if they didn't pay back the drug dealer. And you believe them. And I went to my bank, I took out, and this was an inheritance from my aunt's legacy. And I'm not going to get into it, but I did ask for help in terms of finances, and thank God. Okay. But I was at a place where I was so vulnerable that, and because of the ripple effect of what happened to me, affected my relationships. It affected my work. It affected everything. But now I feel more back to myself, right? And I guess what my point is, I don't know what my point is, but I'm sure all of you will be able to keep track of what I'm saying and can figure out that in being somebody who used to manage when I think about what I used to do you know that I never thought I was good at the job? I thought I was getting paid too much. This was in the early 2000s. I was making a salary of $44,000 plus bonuses. And we were, all of the other regionals were making $20,000 more a year than me on their salaries. But what I've realized is because of the anorexia that I did do a video about it, so I have shared it, and I know I've shared it. So because of the anorexia, you get arrested development. So I'm 52, but my mentality is that of probably a 40-year-old or younger, but I've always been that way. But I've been able to survive in the world, you see, because my aunt and my uncle and my mother were amazing role models. My childhood was idyllic. I had two cousins I loved. I still to this day, and I don't understand what happened. And, there's always a black sheep of the family. And unremarkably, somebody in my family who I thought was the pillar of strength was the black sheep of her family. So, what I guess I'm trying to say is I had a bad day. And it's kind of when I was looking at that, because I used to watch everything once, and then I stopped because I don't edit. And now I understand why people edit. But I have figured out a way to take these videos from Lasha Rajenko, go onto my phone under L&L Soul Sisters, piece together, me ranting and raving, and then like looking at myself, right? I know what my whole point was about Royal Pushbook app, whatever. The Royal, oh yes, I did. Okay? My knee was so bad today, and at least I'm not popping lithium, and not that people don't need that. I take oh no, it doesn't matter, but this helps with pain. And it's the lesser of another evil. And that's why the Sackler family just winds me up. Oh. Anyways, this channel is going to be about content from now on, not about me, but I just can't believe how jaded I got and how corrupt the system is. But it's like, what do you do about it then? Like, because everybody sits around and talks about it, and it's great. Everybody's sitting around talking about it. And there's so much awareness, and that's fucking fantastic. But what are we doing about it? Well, I'm doing my thing with change.org. I need 500,000 signatures. Don't donate money if you want to. But I think it doesn't go to me. It goes to change.org, right? And it moves your petition forward. That's what it does. It's an algorithm. So it keeps whoever invented change.org, which I need to read, like the Royal Grift, she researches, like, I swear to God, I thought she might have been a CIA agent. That's a joke, but a half truth, because she's so smart and she has all this equipment, and she's just very worried about Harry and Meghan taking over our freedom of speech in the US. Now, whatever goes on in the US affects Canada, so I always watch her channel and I understand what she's saying to a point, but I'm like, oh my God. Even Canadians can pick up the Valley Girl thing, okay? I thought, does she know something we don't know? I'll never tell. Remember that movie? Now I have the pasties. But as a human being, you are who you are. And I'm not unkind, and I'm silly, and I have a temper when I'm pushed to the limit. And a lot of what happened on Concord when I was talking about, it's more complicated than people. It wasn't people that didn't like me. It was an incident. The board of directors happened to live on the same floor that I did. And I was babysitting at the time because I worked at a restaurant here. And a year later, I run into him. All the old staff is gone. And there I am, it's your year anniversary. And he said how, you really did work hard. And I washed dishes. And I used to be a regional supervisor with, 175 to 200 employees at a time with 13 stores and, 8 tiers of management ramming down my throat. It was a cult. And that cult has been shut down. I was thinking about it last night and we all sounded the same. It was like we used to try to out Jenny Craig each other. And one day I will do a Jenny Craig skit. Okay? That will be funny. The way I am as a person every day is who I am every day. And I'm not going to share it, but I love helping people. I always have. I love seniors. Like anybody who's lived longer than me, I love them. And I love women and men that don't get plastic surgery. I not love. I admire that bravery because where is plastic surgery going to enhance my life in the life that I live right now? I understand why women get it if they're. I'm not trying to insult it. And I insulted a friend of mine who got it, but I think it stopped us from speaking. And I didn't mean it as a directive toward her. But then I was thinking about it, but okay, it doesn't matter. That was her choice. And she's also in a business where she is dealing with the public in the beauty industry all the time. So in my humble opinion, it's very vain. I love health care and skin care and eating healthy and exercising and being vibrant, but I rarely wear makeup. That's why I find it hard to come on camera, because for me to come on camera, I have to do my hair, put on makeup, because it is known that people with asymmetrical faces, men and women, are more attracted to looking at, right? So, but I love to sing and perform, and it was because I was an only child, not because I was a narcissist. And I get emotionally destabilized because of my history, but I learned after today that watching it scared me, and I almost thought of taking it down. I was embarrassed. And then I thought, but it's the truth. Nobody trusts institutions anymore. And that's frightening because that's when revolutions and crazy things start, like what the French lived through in Les Miserables, the play. And forgive me for my ignorance, I wasn't very smart. I only watched Antoinette with Kristen Kurtz as far as my education, and I didn't get a heart. And I know my old Canada, they're silly, but to me it's just art. I'm so patriotic about Canada that I almost want to go into politics because I want to change this bill. Do you see what doctors get away with? Oh, my stress level's increasing. My eyelids are blinking. But the book reading I enjoy, and it's I'm a commoner, not a royal, but they still go through things. But it makes me laugh because I used to have a Toyota Corolla SE, and I could, for the early 2000s, we were middle class, right? Between my husband and I, we were bringing in about, on average, between about $80,000 a year, and that was a lot of money from where I came from. It could have been a little more, depending on how well the centers did. And what I think my karma was is I stayed there for the greed of money because when I moved to Vancouver, I got very far away from who I was. I never would have bought a new handbag. I would have rather put it in the bank and saved it, and I had worked hard for it. And that's where it stays. And if people need help, you help. But you don't go give somebody who's completely lying to you $3,000 to pay back a drug dealer and believe that they're recovered, but you don't see them for 4 days. And the next time they come to see you, they don't have the rent money because his hours have been cut back. And then I meet them at a store in the same town, and I'm wearing my Canada hat, a dog collar, the sweater that he forgot here because it was a really expensive sweater because his mother's a professor and his father is something else. And then he ordered skip the dishes behind my back on my phone, and the bill was $1,500. And people think I'm narcissistic. That makes me laugh. That's saying I don't care about myself. I don't love myself. And when I saw him, he was all healthy. He was with his mother. I'm the one that looked crazy. And he really did do those things. And I just always wanted his mother to know, like, I'm not a bad person. I'm not. I just, you can only take so much. Being violated. I told you everything all angrily, but I'm telling you, I forgive. But I'm not, I used to be the type of person that would have let it go and said nothing. I don't know. When they laid me off from Jenny Craig, they laid me off. When they laid me off, hang on a minute. Does anybody remember? See, that's my old one. And I wanted to show respect for the people, nice and neat. I like to try to keep the handwriting neat, and that looked like a sloppy mess. And I didn't think that anybody who took the time to listen to me deserved that. So, at any rate, you know what? Sorry, just a second. I'm sorry. Why am I apologizing? Why does everybody apologize all the time for the wrong reasons? Like, I'm sorry that I'm holding you up, but you can slide through the video. You slide it to the left or the right. I just needed to take a puff. My back hurts. So, anyways, what I was going to say at the end of the day, I just wanted to share that I play with my hair way too much. My mother watches all my videos. Have you ever read her comments to me? She'll write, "What?" And I can just hear her voice in my head. "What are you doing?" Right? You're 52. Okay, the reason I call it Royal Pushback Aftermath is I believe when I made money, I respected it. I respected the people. I respected what it gave me and realized that in that time of my life, I've owned a house and a condo in my life. I worked 2 jobs, 21 to 27. Jenny Craig and the Visiting Homemakers of Hamilton Wentworth, and I still remember my schedule. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 40 hours at Jenny Craig. Because back then you couldn't work part-time. Imagine that. And that was 25 years ago when I first started my career there. So I was with the company for a very significant amount of time. And it was very cultish. It really was. And when they laid me off, it was because I had this type of person approach. And it didn't combine with, for instance, the lady who became on to run the whole province. She was a barracuda. She lived across the street from me in Vancouver. We knew about each other's lives, but at work she stabbed me in the back because they sat at that boardroom and they hand cherry picked who they wanted gone. And when I found out who got laid off and who didn't, I wasn't surprised at all. It was the people that had been there for a very long time that had higher salaries that blew me away. And I phoned several and I asked if they were going to sue for wrongful dismissal. One woman who worked there for 25 years, and at the time she was 53, so she would be 60. She'd be 67 now. That's 14 years ago or something. Long time ago. But I remember very specifically. And because I was making the money, I felt like I didn't deserve it. I thought the pay was too high. I thought, why are these people? It seemed like the higher I went up, the higher the stress and more responsibility, but it was easier because I could drive anywhere I wanted. I could do and make up my own schedule. And but I was different. I didn't conform. I made up my own dialogue, which got me the job in the first place. And they used those ideas in their tip cards, but they fired me because I did things differently. How does that make sense? I mean, I remember my husband, who we're still legally married. He's in Vancouver and I in Ontario, and that marriage. Yeah, I think when I was 38, when I was laid off from that job, I had so much pain with it. I phoned HR, and I was going to give them information about this boss that I had that just used me, and as soon as she climbed the ladder, dropped me. What's the new word? Markled? Is that really in the dictionary? But what kind of dictionary? A Kindle dictionary? A Kindle dictionary? Or a real dictionary? Anyway, you know what I want to say about dictionaries? I remember I want to find out what children do in school nowadays. I'm going to phone, this to me is an interesting piece of content. I'm going to phone Our Lady of Fatima, where I went to school. I had a teacher there when I look back in the 70s. He sexually harassed me. He would have been in jail if this happened in this day and age. So when I tell you we all have a story, we all do. And I don't understand why people get obsessed with Meghan Markle. I mean, I do too, because I believe that she could take the monarchy down unless King Charles steps down, William takes over, protects the family dynasty, and cuts Harry out of the fold completely. I'm a commoner. I support the monarchy. I believe in the history of it, but not the millions of dollars. I just wanted to say that who I am is I love to care for people. I want to help people. The reason I started this channel and I rant about what happened to me is because there are people still sitting in wheelchairs, or in worse, they've passed away because of a surgeon making an error. And in Canada, you have 2 years to sue. And I said, I don't want to sue. And then something rose up in me, and I called every lawyer, and they wouldn't take the case without the $10,000 retainer. So I put it on change.org. If I get 500,000 signatures or share with friends, then that would help monetize the channel. And then I have to go to the city hall, get the charity license, do the accounting, all of that. And anything that Google pays for YouTube, I don't even know how that works, but whatever Google pays you, the money is going to people who need it for real. And I will vet them, and I want to film them. Like let's say they need something for their bathroom to sit in the tub to take a shower. I want to raise money, and I'm going to film, here's your chair. I want to run it. I'm not, when charities get too big, I don't trust them. But on the other hand, I'm not going to say anything about any other channel. No, not doing that. No. Okay, I don't have an outro, but I think it's best. I really have been up for 3 days, for real. Tomorrow, I am doing Chapter 1, The Void of Luke Perry, and I'll be conducting it live on this channel and the Royal Pushback After channel on the iPhone. Then I am doing the exorcism of Annalise Michael. And then, if my voice is up to it, I will do some singing at night. Thank you for that encouraging comment. What else? That's it. I'm sitting here going like this. Remember the last video I did? I went like this and I said that's a whole other topic. And I was talking about body language. But it's not just about body language, it's also about changing your breathing and not running to pills for the answer. That's why the Sackler family just makes me sick to my stomach. I never was on those medications, thank God. The horror and the pain those people went through, nobody understands unless you have gone through it themselves. A doctor could observe and could research, and they've done fantastic jobs understanding that it's not the patient's fault. I remember that whole mentality of if you've read, look, I'm grooming my hair again. I'm sorry. Britney Spears wrote in her book from Cheer Denise's channel, and she's reading the same book. She's reading Luke Perry as well, and it'll be interesting because I love her channel, and she inspired me. She inspired me, and I don't read a lot, um, but there are these two books that there's four books I'm fascinated with. Um, the Exorcism of Annalise Michael being one of them. And on Royal Pushback Aftermath, I do have a playlist. So if you are interested, and it's written by Dr. I've had it for 13 years. It's so good. It really, really is. And I sit down and I read like every word. And then if I want to interject, I will a little bit. But I try to do it like an audiobook. And Cheer Denise does book reviews, so she can read 2 pages at once and tell you she's the best storyteller I've ever come across. And I really mean that. About the behavioral panel, Mark Bowman was talking about thumbs and that it's the most vulnerable part of your body. I thought, how can your thumb be vulnerable? Then he was talking about evolution. If you believe in evolution, I respect it. If you don't, I respect that. That we were from waters creatures, and our thumb, I don't know what it used to be. Anyways, when you see people, and if you try body language, it does work. So I had my hands in my pockets, which most people do when it's cold outside because I didn't bring my mitts. And I exposed, he said, if you expose your thumbs, you'll see chaps walking around like so, and that means that a confident character is okay. Oh, and that picture, so that's what that means. So I tried it, and then I did this instead, and I could feel the vulnerability. And that's what's so interesting about behavior is it does affect your body. And I do not think AI needs to go any farther than it already has. We need to stop. Like my family member said in Ottawa, they're doing electric cars, which is great, but it takes a year after you buy one, and then you want to go on a trip across Canada, but there aren't. You think in Saskatchewan and Regina and Sault Ste. Marie, they have electric car stops. It takes planning, but then where's the rest of the electricity, for example? And that's why my light, I can't believe it broke. I can't believe it. It saves electricity because then I turn this light off and then I just put that light to the side of me, right? So, anyways, I'm going to go to bed and concentrate on my breathing. I just wanted you to know PSW is my passion, even over being a leader at Jenny Craig. But what I wanted to say about the cultish aspect, when these women got laid off, do you know that people they worked with side by each for 20 years Like every single person had worked for the company for over 20 years. And they had people walk in, get the ladies to clear their offices at the center director meetings, and the regionals didn't know it and walked her out like she was fired. And I asked her, have you spoken to anybody at the centers you work at? And she said, not a word. And I said, are you going to sue? And you know what she said to me? No. No. I said, why? She said it was a business decision. And I'm the only one out of 28 people that sued them for wrongful dismissal and won. I even got the reference letter I wanted, not the dates and the times and the jobs and how I worked my way up. I wanted laudatory comments in reference to specific actions that I took in my life and in my job to make that region grow and be successful. It's cutthroat. And I did it for the pride of money. And my husband said, if I put as much work into our marriage as I did Jenny Craig, and he said, if you ever lose that job, you are going to, he's given me some very negative self-fulfilling prophecies, and I don't think that's a positive thing to be around when people tell you all the negative things that are going to happen if you do this or that. I do believe in, writing in my Moses diary, I call it. And I do write down everything. And the violation after violation, I think at Concord, when the board of director lived on the same floor as me, he had a dog, and their dog bit my dog's ear. And I remember saying, why are you running away from Sophie? Sophie would never hurt you. And they said, well, it's him we're worried about, not Sophie. So really, that was a projection of their fear, is the way I look at it. Or maybe that's too agey or whatever. We were both at fault. But they had more money than me. And what people kept telling me was, you're too vulnerable. But that living there, and I want to tell you this though, I had a lovely summer, and I met Larry that I did the Meghan Markle video with, and Michael and Karen, and I met her brother, and I met Karen's parents, and John came on my 52nd birthday, and Tanya was there, and James, and when I babysat Lincoln. I mean, April, May, June, July, and August were fine months. September, October, November, the 5 out of the 3, the negative. No, I will never let the negative outweigh the positive, but we had to do something. And we didn't leave in the middle of the night. We hired movers. My mother, again, I owe that woman my life. And, right now I'm working with home care, and I take care of my mother. And I want to start my own home care business and help people. And I'm not doing that through donations through YouTube. But I really, I've got a lot of goals, and I feel like Benjamin Button, that Arrested Development, if you could catch it, you can turn it around. You look older, your body doesn't move as great, but you know what? I will tell you the silver lining. I couldn't afford physiotherapy or anything. Guess who healed herself? I did. And I now realize that it's human connection that I need. And you get that when you're out working or you're out doing your shopping. But not but, however, and what I was going to say about royals is they're just pouty. But you know, on the same note, how the hell would we know? I do think that Meghan Markle ripped a piece of the monarchy's plan with Harry. And it's really sad. I'm going to sleep. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm a day behind with the singing and the reading, but I will start The Void, Matthew Perry tomorrow, and Cheery Denise, Cheere, Denise also reads book clubs. She has like thousands and thousands of people that tune into her because she's that good. Seriously. And I don't know what her take on the book will be, but yeah, I can't wait to listen to her read it too. So anyway, bye. I think that's the second longest one I've ever made. Oh wait. So I will check my phone tonight. Wait. I love this. Oh, and the 5 dots are people that had pictures, but I didn't know their name. And there we go. Yeah, treasure. I remember. Thank you so much. Oh, and you know what I bought too? I said yesterday that when you came down today, it would be different. Well, the one thing is different. I did redo that board. However, I wanted to show you. I got tacks because I don't like the wood. So I'm getting a blue like material piece and I'm going to put just like tack it into the wood. And then I don't want to put holes in the owner's walls. So I got these Command damage free hanging and it holds mirrors and such up to 16 pounds. Now this one I'm going to have to hang on the wall, but that one will hold. And I'm going to do it side by each between high voltage. Yeah. And that video that I did the other day with the guy, I should have called it the Grim Reaper. Well, he's left-handed. And we lived here a year ago for 4.5 years. And now we're back since Concord. Isn't that life funny? And I have a redo, and I'm so blessed. And that's why I say that's the difference between victim, arrested development, yada yada. You have to take responsibilities for your own actions, and you can't blame. And if you're going to complain, if you're going to blame and complain and whine and winch like a witch, do something about it. And not as in Stephen King, you nutwing. How's that for a rap, Eminem? Okay. Be kind to yourselves, and I will do the same. And I wanted to give a shout out to the girl. When I was reading The Exorcism of Annalise Michaels, Sophie was acting really weird. And she always did that when I read tarot cards. And a lady commented, it was Sophie, I think, oh, the girl's name. Oh, I know your name. It's on the tip of my tongue. She said that her dog does the same thing. And so, you know, you're all entitled to free tarot card reads, right? Like anytime. I have a playlist on Royal Pushback Aftermath. And if you go to the community page on this channel, it'll take you right to the other channel where there's tons of fun footage. I had a great summer swimming by the lake, walking by the lake, babysitting Lincoln with the dog, swimming in the water, having a nice cold Caesar with Larry. It was lovely, lovely, you know? Anyway, and I met Sandy there. How could I forget Sandy and Charlie? I didn't forget them, but they are lovely people. Anyways, I've learned how to pick out the right people and the wrong people now. I can even tell online. So, anyways, the last 2 days are the angriest you'll ever see me. And it's funnily enough, getting that off my chest worked. I believe that not getting things off your chest cause physical illnesses. Anyway, I want to talk about Robbie one day too. Oh, and Tina Turner and David Lockhart. I have to tell you that story too. Okay. Hi, Carlton. Hi, Jennifer. I hope this video finds you well. Hi, Brian. I'm your second cousin. Hi, Ken. I remember you were the security guard at Lake Louise. They'll never see this video. Anyway, bye. Take care. Be safe. Be safe. Be safe. Oh, and you know what else is breaking news? Do you know on the QEW between St. Catharines and Hamilton, an oil tanker spilled over? You know, there's so much I could report on. I don't know if I'm a reporter. I don't know. I'm going to figure this out, though. Thank you for anybody who watched. And if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, it does help. And leaving a comment does help. My goal is not to talk into the wind, but I'm not asking, oh, will you please comment? I used to be like that. No, that's ridiculous, Lasha. Be a grown up. Okay, I'm really getting sleepy now. Okay, good night.